Hi, I'm Caden Palmer, and this is the visual walkthrough of my semester in Capstone. The hope for this video is to be an informative summary of my project and inspire ideas towards future Capstone students who are interested in doing their project on the same topic I chose. Enjoy! Entering into the first week of the semester, I knew that there was a long journey ahead. I hadn't decided on what I wanted to do or who I wanted to focus on, and I had no direction. So with that burden, I was really overwhelmed. But luckily for me, my awesome teacher, Mr. Z, got the ball rolling. What are some of your early week expectations for Capstone students? Like going in like week one, when they first get into class?
So the beginning of the class is just really thinking about what you're passionate about, what gets you excited, what do you enjoy doing, and figuring out what they might want to do for a project.
And then when students are trying to determine their topic, what do you want their project to be about and the kind of values and elements you look for?
So we try to combine a couple things, what they're passionate about or excited about, how it's going to benefit someone else, and something they are curious about and want to learn more about. I've had projects that really focus on impacting the community and other projects that focus more on personal betterment or things that students just want to learn more about.
Thank you. So heading into the next few weeks, one of the bigger things that I really wanted to implement in this project and have was the love of Jesus. It's something I'm passionate about, and I knew that if I could have that in the center of my project, then whatever I accomplish would mean something. I thought long and hard about what I had seen in my 17 years, and an issue that not only needed to be resolved, but it was big enough to be here in my local part of Virginia. And that's when the idea and the vision of homeless people in Roanoke in grass medians, they have their little cardboard signs and their jars of money, sparked an idea in my head. Immediately, ideas started flowing and I had a lot of ambitions, but one thing was clear. Information needed to be spread about poverty, and people needed to be made aware. That theme stayed consistent throughout this entire project, but the means to do so went through a bunch of different revisions. Originally, I thought it would be cool to have my own informational fair for those in need, where organizations would come and spread out all of their information on who they were and what they did and how they could help. When is this happening? I was really inspired by Stepping Stone's Mission's own Autumn Fest, which they held, which was a fundraiser to help out the soup kitchen, and it invited a lot of community members to come out and have their own booths. I was actually able to volunteer there with my church, and I made some great connections with the Rocky Mount Police Department. But in the midst of trying to figure out logistics and reaching out to 10s to 20s to 30 businesses in my area and figure out the contact information and stuff like that, I realized it was a bit too much for a single high school student. After taking a step back and remembering that even a small difference is a difference, I looked over my resources and caught something I missed. When I was gathering all the research to understand poverty and gather my info, I used a PDF from the Franklin County government website. In the context of setting up a community event, the resource seemed perfect for what I needed. It contained a plethora of useful information, stuff with business names and phone numbers that all worked towards helping people. But upon further inspection, the webpage was actually incorrect. Phone numbers weren't written right, and newer organizations were nowhere to be found. That, paired with lots of other small details that were missing, I knew I could seriously improve this document. Once I realized my path ahead was laid out before me, I immediately started work on redesigning a new PDF with the people who need help on my mind. I had a few new ideas to bring in elements of graphic design to help out the visual appeal, but the main goal was to update the information, throw out the old stuff, and get it into the hands of places that could give out my info to people who need it. My new resource officially finished production on October 20th, 2023. As soon as I added that final touch, I made a phone call to the Franklin County government number listed on their website. I ended up talking to the clerk of the Board of Supervisors, and What started as a phone call explaining how the webpage was outdated and in need of improvement ended in a thank you email explaining my excellence in serving the community and looking out for a way to benefit others by providing that resource. Now, while my project was by no means a bad thing, changing one webpage in the scope of the entirety of poverty was really nothing. The hope of all my efforts this semester was to set an example. I was passionate about my community, so I chose a problem that I could make an impact and a change on. Then I set out, did my research, and gave it my all. Imagine an entire community or generation banding together with that mindset. Change is change, whether big or small. If every single person does one little thing that means something, then think of how many little problems we could solve that could come together and make a big difference. If there's anything I've learned from this process and this capstone semester, it's that you can make a bigger impact than you think, even if what you're doing seems small. As long as you pour out every bit of effort and passion and ability you have to work towards accomplishing something that you care about, then nothing can get in your way to make a difference.